guys, welcome to another video. This is for Edexcel Functional Skills Entry 3. We're just going to go through a past paper. This is for the sample assessment, September 2019. So we're going to do section A first and then section B. Let's go straight into it. Okay, so this is what it should look like. Should say sample assessment materials for first teaching, September 2019. This is section A, non-calculator, 25 minutes. I think it's always a good idea to read on the front what kind of things you must have, and just read the instructions, just before you start the test, or if you're starting the real exam. Obviously, you need a black or blue ink pen, pencil, ruler, and rubber. If you don't have these things, don't worry. They will provide this to you. Just make sure you answer each and every question. You can write or draw to show your answers. You must not use a calculator for section A. Obviously, you can for section B. We'll come to that in a minute. Total number of marks for this section is 9. Read each question carefully. Check your work at the end. Ask if you do not understand any words. So, yeah, definitely use either a black or blue ink pen when you're doing these. If there's a drawing or anything, where you have to draw anything, or you have to draw a graph or anything like that, definitely use a pencil for that. And if you need to draw any straight lines, definitely use a ruler as well. Okay, let's have a look at the first question. So Lynn moves to a new flat. These are the amounts she spends each month on rent and bills. So rent, £679, bills, £138. Calculate the total of these amounts. Show your working and your answer in the box below. So they give us a big box, and there's a line at the bottom here with the pound sign, obviously, where we write our answer. So to get your 2 marks, you have to show your working out. You can't just put your answer and that's it. You can't work out in your head. Well, you can, but I wouldn't recommend it. So to get 1 of your marks, you have to show your working out. And obviously, for anything to do with total, you're going to have to add these 2 values together. And usually what we do, what I would do anyway, would be 679, and let's put 138 underneath. Yeah, and we add these 2 values together. It makes no difference which order you do it, and you could have put 138 at the top for adding. Makes no difference. So let's add these together. And we always start from this side, don't we? So 9 add 8. What's that going to give you? That's going to give you 17. Let's carry the 1. You can carry the 1 at the top or at the bottom, makes no difference. Let's do it at the bottom. 7 add 3 gives you 10, plus the 1 you carried is 11. Carry the 1 again. See, I've carried it at the top now. Makes no difference. And then 1 add 6 add 1 gives you 8. Yeah, and that's going to be £817. Let's just write that. Done. That's your 2 marks right there. Let's move on. That's better. Lynn puts DVDs on shelves. She has 236 DVDs. Each full shelf has 28 DVDs. How many full shelves of DVDs does Lynn have? Show how many DVDs are left over. 3 marks for this. Show your working out and your answer in the box below. Right, so we need how many full shelves of DVDs, and you can have some DVDs left over. So if you imagine she's got all these DVDs, she's got 236 DVDs, and she's going to share that between each shelf is going to have 28. So how many 28s go into 236? How many of these go into that? That's going to tell us how many shelves we need. So this is actually division. This is going to be 236 divided by 28. Yep, how many 28s go into that? That'll tell us how many shelves we need. I don't know my 28 times table, and I don't expect you guys to know your 28 times table either. So usually when you have anything like this, 236, usually we'd put that in the bus stop, put the 28 on the outside. But is there a quicker way? You know, we'll be there forever trying to figure out how many 28s go into 236. I'll tell you what. Why don't we work backwards? Because 280 is pretty close to 236. So 28 times by 10, we know is 280. Yeah, which is pretty close to 236. Let's work backwards. Let's work out what 28 times 9 would be. So that'd be, I need to take away another 28 from that. 28 minus that. Let's do it this way. I'm going to have to borrow. So 0 take away 8 I can't do. I'm going to have to borrow. That becomes 10. 10 take away 8 is 2. Seven take away 2 is 4. And that's what that is. Okay. Let's take away, get closer to, let's take away another 28 from that. 2 take away 8 I can't do. Let's borrow from that. 12 take away 8 is 4. 4 take away 2, sorry, is 2. And that's a 2. Okay, so that's 28 times 8. Yeah. Or you could have worked these out separately. You could have worked out what 28 times 9 is. Separately, like this. 8 9s are 72. Carry the 7. 2 9s are 18. 18 plus 7. 25. So you still get to 2, which is what we got originally here on the right hand side. So you can work them out separately. So it's pretty close to 224. 224, which is 28 times 8. So it goes into 8 times. So that's your answer. That's your first answer. That's your first answer. We've got 8 full shells. But it's not exactly 8 full shells. We've got a little bit left over. So it's the difference between 236 and 224. Let's work out what we got left over. This will tell us how many DVDs we'll have left over. 6 take away 4 is 2. 3 take away 2 is 1. 2 take away 2 is 0. So you're left with 12 DVDs left over. That's your 2 answers. So yeah, try and approach this a different way. You know, if you're trying to divide by a big number like 28 or any other big number like that, don't do the normal way how you normally divide, you know, like this bus stop method. Think of it differently. See how you can get your answer a bit quicker. Because yeah, you could have done it that way. You could work 20, how many 28 on 236. You'd be there forever to be honest. You would eventually got your answer, but also you say, is there a quicker way? There's got to be a quicker way. And just try to think outside the box. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but you know, if you can work out your answer a lot quicker, definitely it will save you a lot of time. You can just move on to the next question, and just focus on that, instead of thinking about this constantly. So yeah, that's the answer for that one. I'm sure there are other ways of doing this, but that's probably the best way. Just work backwards from 280. Let's move on. Question 3. Lynn pays for an internet contract, £27 each month for 18 months. Okay. How much will Lynn pay in total for the internet contract? 2 marks. Show your working and your answer in the box below. Right. So, yep, same sort of thing. So for each month, it's £27. How many months have we got? We've got 18. So it's 18 lots of 27. So it's got to be 27 times by 18. How do we do that? It's quite a few different ways. I'll show you 2 different ways that I know. Some people do it this way. All right, 27 at the top, 18 at the bottom. Multiply it this way. Or you could have done it the other way around. 18 at the top, 27 at the bottom, makes no difference. So all the numbers at the top are going to multiply all the numbers at the bottom. Let's do all the numbers at the top multiplying this 8 first. So 7 times 8 is 56. That's a 6. Carry the 5. 2 8s are 16. Plus the 5 is 21. Yep. 8 is 16 plus 5 is 21. Yep. Okay. That's the 8 done. And now all the digits on the top, the 2 and the 7, they're going to multiply all the they're going to multiply the 1 now. So we have to put a 0 here first, though, because it's not a 1, it's a 10. The 1 is in the tens digit. So if we put a 0 down first here, now we can think of it as a 1 and say 7 times 1, which is 7. 2 times 1, which is 2. Yep. And we just add these 2 lines together, and it should give our final answer. 6 plus 0 is 6. That plus that is 8. That plus that is 4. So you should get 486 as your answer. So that's one way of doing it. A lot of people don't know this way or get confused. So another way I can show you is by using the grid method. And what that is basically you split the 27 into what it's made up of. So that's made up of a 20 and a 7. 18 is made up of a 10 and an 8. And you just multiply these together. 20 times 10 is, well, 2 times 1 is 2, and you got 2 zeros. 10 times 7 is 70. 8 times 20 is 16. 8 times 2 is 16, plus a 0. 8 sevens are 56. And you just add these in a different color. You just add these 4 together, and you should get your final answer. Let's do it in order. 200 plus 160. Just scroll down. Again, you can do this in any order. Adding makes no difference. You got 6 there. 6 add 7 is 13. Plus 5 is 18. Carry the 1. And that gives you 4. Yeah, you get the same answer. Doesn't matter which way you do it. A lot of people do prefer it this way. Obviously, there's 2 stages to this grid method, whereas there's only 1 stage for the other way. Technically, no, it's like a 2-in-1 for the first one, isn't it? You are multiplying first and then you're adding, so it's like 2 stages in that one as well. So there's 2 stages for both of them, to be honest. Whichever way you do it makes no difference. You're still going to get the same answer. There are other methods as well. You know, whichever way you do it, you could have broken it down. There are multiple ways of multiplying. However you do it, makes no difference. You're going to get full marks. Let's move on. Right, question 4. Lynn wants to buy cleaning liquid for the flat. She can choose 1 large bottle or 2 small bottles. So 1 large bottle is 1 liter, and 1 small bottle is 429 milliliters each. Does 1 large bottle have more liquid than the 2 small bottles? You must show your working. Show your working and your answer below. Right. Okay. And you have to tick the correct answer as well, right? So to get your 2 marks, obviously you have to work it out, and to get your that's for you. So 1 mark will get you for you working out, 1 mark for you working out, and 1 mark for ticking either yes or no, the correct one, obviously. Does 1 large bottle have more liquid than 2 bottles? So we need to compare this, the 1 liter, with 2 of these small ones together. Well, the first thing is to recognize that 1 liter is equal to 1,000 milliliters. Yep. They won't tell you that in the exam. You need to know that yourself. So definitely you need to remember that. So this is the same as 1,000 milliliters, this large bottle. Can we add these 2 together? Let's add them 2 together, or you can times it by 2, whichever way. Makes no difference. Let's do it this way. Let's add these 2 together. And I know it's obvious. Some of you might be able to guess what it is, but you do have to show this bit of working out so that you can compare it with 1,000. 9 add 9 gives you 18. Carry the 1. That gives you 5. 4 and 4 is 8. So 2 bottles, 2 small bottles gives you 858. 1 large bottle is 1,000. Does 1 large bottle have more liquid than the 2 small bottles? Yes, it does. Yeah, so now you can compare the 2. Definitely the large one's got more. You tick that. There's your answer. Yeah, but this is essential. You need to know this. Let me highlight it. Definitely you need to know that. Yep, that is essential. Let's move on. That was it. Yeah, so that was section A done. Let's move on to section B. Right, so for section B, similar sort of thing. It's a little, obviously it's a little bit longer than section A, 75 minutes they'll give you. Obviously it's calculated paper, so you can use one of these now. So you should have one of these yourself, a scientific calculator. If you don't have one, obviously they'll provide one for you in the exam. But I think it's a good idea to get one, and you can just use it at home, just so that you get used to it. Every calculator is different. I mean, every make of calculator is different, so you do need to get used to the functions, the buttons, and everything. Otherwise, you'll get stuck in the exam and you won't know how to use it. It's very easy to get these wrong if you type in the wrong thing, especially if you don't know how to use your calculator. So same sort of thing as before. You must have a blue or black pen, pencil, ruler, rubber, calculator. Answer every question. Write or draw to show your answers. Total number of marks for this section is 27. Read each question carefully. Yeah. Ask if you do not understand any words. Right. Let's go on to the first question. Right. Question 1. Ria and her friends want to rent a flat. They want the flat to be lower than the 5th floor. They want a flat that costs between £875 and £925 per month. Ria finds information about flats to rent. Which flat do they choose? Just have to tick the correct answer. So let me just see what requirements has to have. Let me highlight it, in fact. Lower than the 5th floor. And also has to be between that. Yes, there's 2 requirements that they want. It has to be lower than the 5th floor. It has to be between £875 and £925 per month. Okay. So which ones are lower than the 5th floor? So definitely we can rule out flat A, because that's on the 6th floor. Could be flat B, could be flat C, could be flat D. We can rule out flat F, could be flat F. All right, so we can rule out flat A and E. Yeah, we can rule them out completely. What was the second requirement? Between £875 and £925. Right, so again, we're ignoring flat A. I know the price is fine, but it has to be on the 5th floor, so we're not considering flat A at all. Could it be flat B? 3rd floor, and it's between, yeah, could be flat B. Rent is between the rent is £895. So that's between those two values. Okay. Let me just double check the other ones. Can we do flat C? 4th floor, rent 930. No, we can't do flat C. It's gone over the budget that they were saying. Could it be flat D? 867. No, that's too low. So it can't be that one. What about flat F? 870. No, that's too low as well. Definitely flat B. Just tick it there. There you go. Yep. And you just get 1 mark just for doing that. There's no working out for this. You just tick the right one. Let's move on. Question 2. Ria and her friends want to rent a flat with parking. In their town, 3 of the 15 flats have parking. Which fraction is equal to 3 over 15? Tick the correct answer. Right. So we've got various fractions here. 3 out of 15. Right. So basically, which one is equal to? So you could get equivalent fractions. So equivalent fractions are fractions that are the same. For example, just not related to these fractions at all, but just out of interest, things like a half is the equivalent to 2 out of 4. They both mean the same things. They both simplify to a half, but 2 over 4 is the equivalent of a half. Similar sort of thing. So they're saying what is the equivalent to 3 over 15? Just rub that out. How would we find that out? Well, we could simplify some of these fractions. Let's see if we do get 3 out of 15. Let's have a look. Well, in fact, 3 out of 15 does simplify itself, doesn't it? Let me just double check. 3 over 15 as a fraction, you can simplify that as, because what's the common factor that goes into both 3 and 15? Well, we can divide that top number by 3. And 3 goes into 15 as well. How many 3s go into 3 is once. How many 3s go into 15? 5 exactly. So there you go. It's actually a 5th. Should be that one. Just double check. Can't be a 3rd because obviously it's a 5th, and a 5th and a 3rd are not the same thing. So it's definitely not 3rd. 15 over 100. Well, tick the correct answer. It's only one answer. It's got to be that one. Yeah. It's no use checking the other ones. Definitely it's going to be that as your answer, because 3 over 15 simplifies to 1/5. So it can't be the other ones. That's your answer. 1 mark, dead easy. How did I know how to simplify? Well, I had a look at the fraction to begin with, and you can see straight away that 3 goes into both of these numbers. If you can simplify, I would simplify it. That's what they want you to do. So simplifying is essential in fractions. You need to know how to do that. Let's move on to the next one. Question 3. Ria wants to see a flat between 5:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. She chooses a time to see the flat. When will Ria see the flat? 1 mark. Tick the correct answer. Okay, so these are different times. Between 5:30 p.m. and 6 p.m. So these are in 24-hour clock. So you need to know how to change from 12-hour clock to 24-hour clock. So that would be 5:30 would be 17:30. 6 p.m. is 1800. Yep, that's what it would be. So which one is between those two times? Definitely not the first one. Definitely not the second one. Could be that. Yep, 5:40. There you go. There's 5:40 there, the first one. 17:40, I mean. Just make sure all the other ones. Yeah, definitely 5:40, which is this one. Yeah, 5:40 in the afternoon, PM. Yeah. This other 5:40, that is AM. That's in the morning. So definitely not that one. Yep. So you need to know about 24-hour clock. Definitely do look at that. Do look that up if you're not sure. How did I change it? Good question. Right. What did I do? I added 12 to this. There's your hour number. So you just add 12 to that. If you add 12 to 5, you get 17. If you add 12 to that to 6, you get 18. So that's basically how you change it to 24-hour clock if you're not sure. Let's move on. Question 4. Rhea needs to hire a van to move into her new flat. Okay, so you've got cost of van hire for 1 day. You've got small, medium, large. You've got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Right. Rhea wants to move before Thursday. Right, so it has to be before Thursday, so we can ignore Friday completely. She wants to hire the largest van she can. She wants to pay less than £75. What is the cost of the van rate Rhea hires? Okay. So we can completely ignore this. Has to be before Thursday. In fact, we can ignore that as well. Has to be before Thursday, so it can't be on Thursday. So it's either Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. She wants to hire the largest van. Okay, that's fair enough. Pay less than £75. Right. So could be any of those. Could be that one. Yeah, there you go. That's the only one. That's the biggest one, Will. That's the biggest one that she can hire. What is the cost of the van? Rhea hires. Show your answer. £74. You just write £74. There's literally no working out here. You just follow the. Just eliminate the ones you can't do, and eventually you'll get your answer. £74. It's just 1 mark, just for writing £74. There's literally no working out whatsoever. Just make sure you've read everything and just make sure you follow the requirements that they wanted. You get your answer eventually. Dead easy. Don't spend ages on something like this. Let's move on. Question 5. Diagram shows how to turn on the water tap in the flat. Okay. Rhea turns the tap on. What fraction does she turn the tap for 1 mark? Show your answer in the box. Again, just need to write our answer in there. That's it. Fraction. Yeah, well, basically, you should know what this symbol means. Definitely. In fact, let me do it in a different color. This definitely means 90 degrees. Yeah, you need to know that. If it looks like an L shape and you've got that symbol in the corner, definitely 90 degrees. And she turns it 90 degrees. Fraction. Well, that's okay. 90 degrees out of 360, because it's asking for a fraction, remember. So if you put 90 degrees as your answer, you would be wrong. Fraction is 90 out of, in a full circle, there is 360 degrees. You can use your calculator for this if you wanted to. This is the calculator paper, by the way. So on your calculator, if you literally type in 90 divided by 360, it should simplify it for you. It will say 1/4. There's your fraction right there. Yep. In fact, you could have left it as 90 over 360. That's a fraction as well. But I'd leave your answers either 1/4 or 90 out of 360. Both answers are perfectly fine. It doesn't say simplify your answer. But you should recognize that an L shape is 90 degrees, a quarter of a turn anyway. So that'd be a 90 degrees would be a quarter of a turn. If it was half a circle, that'd be half a turn. If it was 3/4, that'd be 3/4 of a turn, obviously. So it just totally depends on what fraction they've given you. what degrees they've given you, sorry. So in this case, it's 90 out of 360 degrees. You should recognize that. Don't fall in that trap of writing just 90 degrees as your answer. Always recheck what is it asking for. And in this case, it's asking for a fraction. Yeah. Let's move on. Question 6. A water meter shows how many units of water Ria and her friends use. Ria reads the meter when they move in. She reads the meter again after 1 month. Right, okay. So when she moves in, when they move in, 789 units. After 1 month, it's 820 units. How many units of water did their friends use in 1 month? So it's the difference. It's the difference, isn't it, between these two values? So we've got a calculator. We can just do, I'm sure you're working out 820 minus 789. Let's just use our calculator because we've got it. Might as well. You know, if you get this wrong, you shouldn't get this wrong, to be honest. Sure, you're working out and your answer. Okay. 31. Yeah. Too much just for doing that. Yeah. Let's put units as well because it's 31 units. Then it says round 789 to the nearest 10. Show your answer in the box below. Well, 789 to the nearest 10. That's your units. That's your tens. That's your hundreds. So to the nearest 10, that's when you do your dot line. That's going to decide what happens to your tens column. Well, if the units, let me just rewrite that. I should say units. If the units is 5 or more, then it goes up. That's your units right there. Yeah. So if your units is 5 or more, your tens column will go up by 1 digit. If it's less than 5, it's going to stay the same. So in this case, it goes up to 790. Yep. So that's your answer to the nearest 10. And you can see as well, you know, if you're not sure, is it close to 790 or is it close to 780? And obviously it's closer to 790 if you're not sure. But this is a really good way of doing it, drawing the dotted line. That's your cutoff point. The one straight after the dotted line, that decides what happens to the one before it. Then it says, use the rounded number to check your answer. We see this quite often in functional skills, even in entry level. Whenever it says show a check of your answer, you have to do the opposite of what you just did, or a reverse calculation. So what did we do in question 6? Question 6 was this one right here. This was this one. We took away these answers and we got 31 units as our answer. So they want you to use your rounded number, 790, instead of this 789. Okay, we're going to call it 790. But also at the same time, we're going to have to work backwards as well because it's asking you to show a check of your answer. So working backwards, let's use $31 or 30. I would use 31. Oops. 31 plus 790, and that should give you, that should roughly give you the original answer. Plus 790, obviously use your calculator if you want to save some time. 821. There you go. That's your answer. I know it's not the original answer that we got in question 6, but it's the what they want you to do is use your rounded figure to get a rough estimate of your original answer. So just work backwards. Whenever it says show a check of your answer, always work backwards. And if it says use the rounded number, obviously you're going to have to use the rounded number. Don't use what they originally said. That's kind of like a 2-in-1, that one, isn't it? So you have to use the rounded number and do a reverse calculation at the same time. That's all it is to get your extra mark. That's all you have to do. Let's move on. Question 8. Ria looks at the temperature in the kitchen. Okay. What is the temperature in the kitchen to the nearest division? Show your answer in the box below for 1 mark. To the nearest division, what that means is they don't want you to work out the exact temperature that it is. The divisions are these, these little marks that they've got on the temperature gauge. You've got these little sections. So I reckon it's closer to this one, really. Let me just highlight it. It's closer to this one, definitely. Oops. Definitely closer to that one. So let me work out. We need to work out what one of these little sections actually represents. How many have we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections between 0 and 10. So that means 10 is being divided by 5 sections. So each section represents 2 degrees. So that's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and it works. Yeah, then you get 12, 14, 16, 18, 20. So to the nearest division, that's going to be 22. That's going to be 24. Let's call it 24 for our answer. Just write 24 in here for 1 mark. Yep, definitely. But you need to know, you need to work out what each division represents. That's the first bit. Otherwise, you can't answer this question. You'll just be guessing. Let's move on. Question 9. Ria wants to put a cupboard and a table in the living room. The arrow on the scale shows the width of a space in the living room. Right. The width of the cupboard is 1 meter. The width of the table is 84 centimeters. Will the cupboard and table fit in the space? So both these things, both the cupboard and the table are going in the space. Will both of them fit in that space? 3 marks for this. Okay, 3 marks for this one question. Show why you think this. Show you're working out. Tick the right answer. Right. Okay. First things first. Make sure you got everything in the same unit so you can compare. Let's see what this reading is. So we've got arrow on the scale shows the width. So this will tell us how much space we've actually got in the living room. So if that's 195, there's 200 there. Each of these big ones, how many we got? These big ones, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, 5 spaces between 195 and 200. That is 5 centimeters divided by 5. So each one is 1 centimeter. It's a bit messy. Each one is 1 centimeter. Why does it keep doing that? It's a bit messy. You get the idea. That should say centimeter. Let me fix that. Centimeter. Yep. So that there, if that's 1 centimeter, that's 196. That's going to be 197 right there. Yep, that's 197 centimeters right there. So that's the width of the space. Okay. We need to work out that. So what's the total then? So total is 1 meter, which equals 100 centimeters. Again, you need to know that 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. That's essential. Plus 84, which is obviously you could It's obvious, but you can just, you know, you should get 184 centimeters for your cupboard and table together, which is 184 centimeters. So can that fit in 197 centimeters? Yes, it can. Yep, so this is what we need. This is what we need. This space right here is what we've got. Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it? We've got 197 centimeters. Can we fit 184 in there? Yeah, we can. Just tick the yes. Yep, 3 marks for that. Obviously, you need to know what 1 meter equals 100 centimeters. Otherwise, you can't answer this question. So that bit there is essential. Oops. The highlight it. This bit here, you need to know that. Yeah, definitely need to know that. Again, they're not going to tell you in the exam. It's one of those measurements you definitely need to know. Let's move on. Question 10. Reed wants to buy a bookshelf to fit under a window. Okay. The bottom of the window is 1.43 meters from the floor. Right. Okay. Rhea buys the tallest bookshelf that will fit. Which bookshelf does Rhea buy? Right. Okay. So these are in meters. Everything's in meters. So if you imagine, it's going to go underneath the window from the floor to the window shelf. What's the tallest bookshelf that will fit? So it has to fit. Has to be less than this. Let's do it like this. Has to be less than this, but as close as possible, because you want the tallest one. Yeah. So, these are all different decimals. So let's put a 0 here so we can compare. Let's put a 0 here as well. Yeah, so now they're all 2 decimals now. What do we have to get close to? 1.43. 1.43 has to be less than 1.43, so we can rule that one out definitely. 1.43. I reckon it's this one. That's the tallest one we can fit. I'll just make sure. Yeah, that's the biggest one we can fit, definitely. Yeah, if you make them all the same size, you know, for the number of decimal places, then it's easy to see which one's the which one's the tallest one, which one's the biggest one. You have to get close to 1.43, but not go beyond that. 1 mark for that. Yeah. Don't be afraid to do this. You know, if you rule some stuff out and you can add your own zeros, absolutely fine. Yeah, it doesn't say you can't do that. Perfectly fine. Let's move on. Rhea wants to buy a mirror. These are the shapes of some mirrors. Which of these shapes has only one line of symmetry? Ooh, this is a good one. Let's zoom out a little bit. Only one line of symmetry. In fact, it's just them 4 shapes. Okay. Has to be only one line of symmetry. So it only has to have one. Only one, right? Okay, well, definitely the what's that one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Octagon, isn't it? That's definitely got 8 lines of symmetry. The circle's got loads of lines of symmetry. It's got like an infinite number of lines of symmetry. You can fold it so many different ways through the center. This shape here definitely has only got one line of symmetry straight down the center. Yeah. And the, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a pentagon. That's got 5 lines of symmetry. It's definitely that one. Yeah. Only one line. Definitely that one. You can't fold that shape into any other way where it folds in on itself. Definitely that one. There's your answer. Dead easy. Let's move on. Question 12. Rhea needs a hook to hang a picture on a wall. She weighs the picture. Right. The labels show the heaviest weight on each hook can hold. Right. So A, can hold that much, B can hold that much, and so on. Rhea buys the smallest hook that will hold the picture. Which hook does Rhea buy? Show why you think there's 2 marks. Show why you think this. And write your answer. Okay, so it has to be... She needs the smallest one. Oh, what's the weight of the picture? We need to figure out. So if that's 0.4 there, 0.6, it's between 0.4 and 0.6. Definitely. You can probably figure it out yourself. It's definitely 0.5 kg. Yeah, it's halfway between 0.4 and 0.6. And that's the same as 0.5 kg. Let's put our working out in here. 0.5 kg. If we times that by 1,000, let's change it to grams. You should know that's half a kilogram, 500 grams. Yeah, you can just type it in your calculator. You should get the same. So that's the weight of the picture, 500 grams. What do these mean? So the labels show the heaviest weight each hook can hold, right? So that's going to be not enough. Yeah, 225 grams, it's going to fall off that. 450 grams is, again, it's not going to be enough. Yeah, 500 grams is too much. So the smallest one has to be that one. So smallest hook. Smallest hook. 675 grams, which is hook C. Something along those lines, that's good enough. Yeah, as long as you've shown that you're comparing it with 500 grams. Can't be less than 500 grams. Has to be more than that for it to hold on the hook. Yep, that's the smallest one. 2 marks for that. Let's move on. Question 13. Ria wants curtains in a room. These are the lengths of curtains in meters. Okay. The lengths follow a pattern. Ria wants the next length up from 1.5 meters. What length of curtains will Ria buy? Ah, right. So there's a pattern in this sequence. Follow a pattern, right? So going from this to this, what's going on? It's added 0.25 meters. Yep. Same thing here as well. It's added another 0.25 meters. So the next one follows the pattern. You're going to have to add 0.25 meters. So 1.5 plus 0.25. You can type it in your calculator. You should get 1.75 meters. Yep, you can just write it there. That's your answer. 1 mark for that. Dead easy. If you're not sure what it's going up by, you can just work out. You can just work out the difference between. Just take them away. Just do 1.25. Take away 1. If you're not sure what it's going up, it's always going up by the same amount for these. Let's move on. Question 14. Rita and her friends pay bills each month. Type of bill, energy. You got type of bill, water. Type of bill, internet. Right. Ria wants to show this information in a table. Organize this information in a table. Right. For 1 mark, yeah. Again, you don't need to go crazy about this. Let me just zoom out a little bit. So you've got 3 bits of information on all of them. You've got type of bill. So type of bill. You've got date. And you've got amount. Yep. Obviously, you guys use a ruler. My Mine looks a bit messy. So your energy. $18th of the month. Amount £55. Okay. Just extend this. That's all it is. And you could have done it the other way as well, by the way. So you could have had type of bill, date, and amount going down the side. You could have done it that way as well. It's absolutely fine. Or you could have it along the top. Energy. What's the next one? Water. You can do these in any order, to be honest. Makes no difference. 10th of the month. £19. And the last one, internet. Yeah, hopefully yours is a lot neater. Internet. 21st. That's all it is, to be honest. Yeah, just 1 mark for doing that. Yeah. Don't spend ages on something like this. Let's move on. Question 15. Ria sees this graph on a gas bill. Okay, so you got amount of gas used each month, number of units. Ria says the total amount of gas used in November and December was more than 150 units. So we need both November and December. Total amount. She thinks it's more than 150 units. Is she correct? What is it for November? For November, we need to work out what each of these little ones are. So can you see? Let me zoom in. Between 0 and 10, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections. Again, that means each little section is 2 units. So that there is going to be 62 for November. And for December, because it's 3 little sections up, that's going to be 2, 4, 6, 86. So I need to add these two values together. Let me zoom out. 62 add 86. Show you working out. Yeah, again, you know, you can just use your calculator. Save time. Get the correct answer. 148 units. What did she think? She thought it was more than 150. No, she's not right. So you have to tick no. 3 marks for that. Dead easy. Yep, just do it step by step. Just follow the instructions. You can't go wrong. It's only asking for November and December. And the total, you guys know what that means. Just work it out. Show you're working out. Don't forget to show you're working out. And tick the right one. You'll get the full marks. Let's move on. Question 16. Ria has a total of £60 to spend on food. She spends £36.70. How much money does Ria have left to spend? Use correct money format. Another 3 marks for this. Okay, so she's got £60. She spends £36.70. Right. Well, okay. Well, you could just use your calculator, to be honest. We've got a calculator. So it's 60 minus 36.70. Obviously, if you type that in your calculator, 60 minus 36.7. It might come up as a decimal. Oh, sorry, it might come up as a fraction first, like 233 over 10. You guys need to know how to use your calculator, so make sure you press the SD button just above the delete. If you press the SD button, it'll change it to a decimal for you, which is what we want. It'll be 23.3, and that's obviously in pounds. Don't leave it like this. Obviously, I know it says that on the calculator. You leave it like this, you're gonna lose a mark. So obviously, you need to make sure anything to do with currency, you have that 0 there on the end, so it's 2 decimal places, and just make sure everything's correct. You could work out yourself. You don't have to, because this is on the calculator paper. You could have used your calculator. But just make sure you type in the correct amount correctly in the correct format, correct money format. That's what it's saying here. Otherwise, you'll lose marks. But if you did want to work it out, I can do it for you if you want. Yeah, I can show you. You could have done 60. When you're taking away 36.70, you're gonna have to write like this, because technically your decimal point for your 60 is here. You're gonna have to do it like this. Yeah, and just make sure all the decimal points line up for your answer. It's going to be there as well. 0 take away 0, 0. 0 take away 77 you can't do. You're going to have to borrow, but I can't borrow from this 0. I'm going to have to borrow from the 6. Make that a 5. That becomes a 10. Let's borrow from that now. Now we can do 10 take away 7. 9 take away 6. 5 take away 3. Yeah, you get the same answer. And obviously, and in this way as well, you it does it in the correct format for you as well. So just be careful though, especially if you're using your calculator. 3 marks. Let's move on. Question 17. Ria shows her monthly spending in a table. So you got type of spending, bills going out, rent. Chart shows the monthly spending, right? Complete the chart and use the correct labels, right? Okay. Complete the chart. So I would draw a bar chart. Yeah, bar chart's the easiest one. So you could say bills 260. So again, you need to know what each of these little sections actually represent. So how many sections we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do it up here. In fact, 100 divided by 5, which is 20. So each one of these little sections represents 20 pounds. Okay, so if we're trying to draw 260, 260 is, what was the first one? Sorry. Bills. For 1 mark for this question. Well, okay, yeah, it's fine. Again, don't spend ages on this. It's only 1 mark. 260, I can show you dead quick. 260 is going to be, that's 20, 40, 60. So obviously you guys use a ruler. And that's going to be for, what was the first one? Bills. Yep, you have to label it. Next one. 140 for going out. 140 is, so that's 20, 40 there. Yeah. That's going out. What's the last one? Rent, £300, which is up there, straight away, you can see. Oops, which way straight? Yeah, definitely, you guys definitely don't do that with wonky lines. What was that one? Rent. Yeah, definitely make sure that you do it with a pencil and a ruler, unlike me. Can't do it on here, obviously. But yeah, that's your answer. 1 mark just for doing that. Or you could have done a line graph. I don't really recommend doing a line graph. Just stick to bar charts. Bar charts are the easiest ones. Guarantees you get your answer. Full marks. Let's move on. Last one, question 18, recounts the different activities she does each month. These are the results. Complete the frequency table for the results. Right, so for 1 mark, dead easy. Frequency, you just need to know what frequency means. Frequency just means how many you got. So in fact, they've done all of it for you. They've done most of it for you. They've said like party, there's 2. You can see party appears twice. Shopping appears 4 times. Gym, let's see how many times gym appears. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just put 5 there. Dead easy. That's it. And you're done. Yep, that's all it is. So yeah, just practice more of these type of questions. The main ones are changing measurements and things like that. They're the most trickiest ones. So definitely, if you're not confident in that, maybe practice to do with measurements changing from one unit to the other. Apart from that, it's pretty straightforward. You definitely need to know how to add, take away, multiply, and divide with and without your calculator. Hope you found it useful. Thank you. Bye-bye.